Hello everyone.
Hi, how's it going?
I got you in there. There, move it that way. So, this is Brad.
Hi.
Hello.
Hey, Olivia.
I've known you for a long time now. Brad has been, before you had Oscars Hangout, Brad was a chef.
Yep.
A lot of five-star restaurants, right? High-end restaurants.
Been a chef for a long time, since leaving high school, then into my apprenticeship, then worked in lots of fine dining restaurants, and then all around Melbourne. And then before we opened Oscars, we actually invested in a fine dining restaurant, and then we decided to get out of that for lots of different reasons, but the main reason, which we'll discuss soon, I guess, will be the link to family life.
Yeah. So tell us about that then. Why did you decide to start?
Yep. Okay. Because
hang on. I didn't mean to have those flowers here. Never mind.
Okay.
I don't know if I can get
That's all right.
We'll just leave with the flowers. There we go.
Oh, there we go. So when my wife was pregnant with our first child, we decided to. Haley, do you want to deal with that? I'll be back soon. When we decided to have our first baby, we were 38 weeks pregnant or so. We decided, okay, what are we going to do? We'll time to get out of the kitchen and get focus a bit more on the family, because a lot of chefs don't actually get to see their families, so they work long hours, long nights. So we decided, okay, how about we open up something close to home. I grew up in Mordialloc, we live in Edithvale, and make it something that my kids can come to along with everyone else's kids.
So that's the reason you wanted to make it family friendly, so that your own family could be part of it. Because a lot of the places you worked for were not family friendly at all.
Yeah, so exactly right. So I thought, no, it can't be that hard to, and there's got to be places for families to go out there. So we decided, right, well, this is what we'll do. And since having our first child, we've now got 3. So it sort of keeps that family vibe going.
Yeah, that was always your intention, wasn't it? Big family.
Yeah.
So 38 weeks pregnant. That's
it's sort of like the ultimate nesting program.
It is. I remember when I was pregnant and they said, who here is doing a renovation? It's when you make big crazy changes in your life.
So that's where the crossroad for me was. Okay, do I keep working late nights in the city, or do I actually see the kids growing up? And so it was a bit of a no-brainer for me to work out which way to go. So
okay, so then tell us about how you went about finding a place. How did you end up in this spot right here?
Yeah. Okay. So we actually thought, okay, how about we actually looked at another site first. Yep. That was on the main strip in Mordialloc. I knew I wanted to be in Mordialloc. We saw the site, went through it, didn't really like it, but then the real estate agent goes, how about where we are looking in the Epsom Estate, which is an old racetrack here. I grew up in Mordialloc, never had been in here before. I knew it was a racetrack, didn't know it was a housing estate here. We came in here, we saw it, and then we thought, okay, this, with our open parkland, which I'm not sure if you want to spin that around to sort of
spin around to see. Oops, other way. There we go. Can you see them? Out there, there's a lot of space for kids to run around in. From time to time, there's a jumping castle out there, or you've had various events, which we can get onto as well. So yes, usually for our interviews I try to pick a place that's quiet, but I thought it would be appropriate to come here. So there's a bit of ambient noise and stuff around, but that all adds to it, I think.
Yeah.
If anyone's watching, if you could just make sure you can let us know. I'm using new microphones today, so if you can just let us know if there's any sound problems and if you can't hear us. Okay, so you came around and found this place, and then...
Yeah, so there was a few businesses in here beforehand, which I think is one of the other questions. But so we thought, okay, let's change it up. Let's do what we want to do. It was an old rundown fish and chip shop, takeaway sort of place, and we thought, no, we can change this up. We had to do some renovations to there you go.
Thanks, Andrew.
Wanted to do some renovations to block out the kitchen and create a proper bar area. We are liquor licensed for 140 people with an on-premise license, which means that we can, during the day we operate as a cafe, but at the night time we can operate as a bar or a nightclub, doing functions, which that is where we've directed the business to now. On top of being a cafe, we do a whole heap of catering and functions and community events and all sorts of things here. Last year, for example, we and that's basically my job most of the time, is to talk one-on-one with the client, and whether we're doing weddings here, whether we're doing corporate Christmas parties, which we do heaps of them. Last year our goal was to do 150 functions. We did 152. So that means this year we'll 200.
Yeah, 200, go for it.
Yep.
We'll do it.
But yeah, so we've done all sorts of things here. So it's a very versatile space. And with my chefing background, has helped basically, so I know exactly how front of house works and back of house works now. And yeah, when we get really busy days or whatever, I'll just jump in wherever I'm needed if all the team's doing their job properly.
It sounds to me it's good that you know how to do that if you have a staff problem or something. You can jump in there, but also that you haven't put yourself as you're not the main chef all the time. It depends on what's going on.
Yeah,
but
so
you work on the business a lot with all this.
Yeah, so the best way to, and I knew that the business won't grow if I'm behind the stove the whole time. So I need to employ people in the spaces, overseeing them, so then we can look at growing the business from there. Yeah, go on, sorry.
No, there's a lot of people struggle to do that, to let go of that thing that they know how to do. And
yeah, well, I'm still on 6 days a week, and I don't give them much leeway, but they always need to know that the boss is watching. And okay, we have gone through quite a few staff, quite a few chefs. This is hospitality. It's
not easy.
No, but having the bonus that whether a chef walks out mid-service for whatever reason, you know that, okay, you can just go in there and do the job, so you're not held ransom by your chef, which a lot of cafe owners are.
So this spot we were talking about, to bring it back to
yep.
There were like 4 businesses that tried something here before that didn't take off.
Yep.
So you've got what could be seen as a disadvantage, that you're not in a highly visible area.
Yep.
However, you've managed to capitalise on the advantage, which is that green area out there, and there's easy parking.
Yep.
And it's
so
easy
no
to get
parking.
to, and that you're in amongst where everyone lives. So instead you've sort of
we've
turned it into, let's be the community place to go to.
We've got about 800 houses around us, sort of in the estate and all that, and then all along McDonald Street, which is the street that runs adjacent to here. It's, as you can see, Olivia, it's just growing with high-rise apartments, and so they're knocking down one house and putting on 10. And that's been happening over the last couple of years, so high-density housing.
So for you, that's good.
Yeah, that's very good. I want people in little houses, so they have to get out and have their coffee and their brekkie.
And use their parkland over there.
Yep, but in saying that as well, when we came in here, we did a demographic study through the council, because when we came in here, there was lots of really big houses. We thought, okay, big houses, big mortgages, but a lot of people had boats and nice cars. A lot of families in the area as well, so we saw that dual income families through the study, and like, okay, so it's our target market of exactly what we want, and then yeah, so most people walk here, as this grass area is fenced off, so it is safer to have your kids here running around, or you can have a glass of wine or a beer, as opposed to taking them to indoor play centres.
Yeah, it's a bit more pleasant for the parents. Okay, so how did you get known? How did you make yourself known in the area?
So we haven't spent any money on marketing, because
when you say that, you mean on advertising?
Yeah, on advertising,
you
like
might spend it on.
Yeah, like we do it in different ways. We don't do it. We don't put ads in local papers. We have done letterbox drops, but being a bit more creative about what you're doing with that and actually physically doing the drop ourselves, so we know exactly where it's going in our target market. But getting in on board with all the local schools, kindergartens, sporting clubs. Like last year we sponsored 6 sporting clubs and donated, I think it's about 2,500 vouchers across 6 clubs. Each of them will only sponsor the junior clubs. It gets them a free bowl of chips or a milkshake. So that way, and you know what it's like when your kid wins an award, they're going to annoy the absolute crap out of you until they can use it. So, and what we found was, 10% of them would come in and that was all. They'll just get their free thing and go. Then you get 50% of them that would actually spend more money, and then the other 40% will actually become return customers. So,
well, which is ideal, which is what you want.
So we found that a lot more effective marketing. So then that way we have a relationship with all the clubs then as well. And then same goes with all the schools, and then we've got all the corporate things that we do throughout the year, the corporate catering. So we run our catering company through here as well. So we do lots of functions, not just here, but all sorts of things, for all different areas.
And the other thing you do is a lot of events, isn't it?
Yeah. So we throughout the year we run our own internal events that are, most of them are community events. So in March we did a Make-A-Wish and Mordialloc festival. So it was a big day for Make-A-Wish Foundation. There was auctioneers, there was what else did we have? Jumping castles and mini golf and entertainers, and I think we raised $3,500 for Make-A-Wish that day. So, and that was a way to get a whole heap more people here and doing something that makes it worthwhile.
Yeah, you've done lots of community fundraising.
Yeah. So lots of people come to us wanting vouchers for their different sporting groups or schools or whatever. So we help them out with that. So
it's good for people to get to know you and to come in here and try you once and then hopefully come back.
Yep. In October we do pink ribbons. So we do a ladies' lunch then, and so we've done that for the last 7. Well, we've been here 7 years. So this year will be the 8th time that we'll run in that ladies' luncheon, so raise thousands of dollars there as well. So that's where our marketing comes in, as opposed to just putting an ad in the local paper and hoping someone will come in. Well,
that builds more of a relationship with people anyway, which is what you want.
Yep.
A connection. Yes, and of course you do the Christmas ones, so I'll mention that because I've sung at a few of those.
Yes, yeah. So we do, yes. We get Olivia to sing at our Carols by Candlelight, which is a big event that we do. Santa arrives a couple of times. We normally have music for about 10 hours straight, and it's a nice family-friendly environment. So my kids are running around here, so.
Santa comes on a fire truck if there's fire trucks available.
Yep.
And what else do you do? Australia Day?
Yep. So we've got our Porkathon coming up next.
Porkathon, yes.
So it's going to be a big...
Curry nights?
Yes.
So you've got the Porkathon, that's coming up, so you can talk about that.
Yeah, so that's coming up in August. We're doing a 2-day event. So we've got 7 different breweries involved, so it's got to be in the middle of winter where it's cold and miserable, and so we get outside and we cook on open fire pits and open spits and just celebrate pork and beer, and then this year we're doing that. We've actually got a local radio station coming down to broadcast from here on the Saturday night, but we're also this year we're actually running it over 2 days. We're doing it Sunday as well, so we can get keep promoting that family-friendly environment. So that will be the where you have all the kids and families down for.
So do you basically have a planner, like a yearly planner or something? How do you have all these? How do you work out? Have you got it all planned for the next year, or how?
Not really. Sometimes we sort of like a couple of years ago we did Christmas in July, and because there's a lot of English and Scottish and all that around here, they kept bugging me every year to do it.
Yeah, I guess I know who those people would have been.
Yeah, and
Muriel.
Yeah, and I said, my idea of Christmas in July, is probably people sitting out at RSL eating a crappy roast, but pretending it's Christmas. So I'm like, if we're going to do it, we're going to do it properly, and we're going to go well over the top. So I ended up blanketing the outside area in fake snow. We had a snow machine blowing in snow in the air. We had kids doing snowball fights, and then you make your way inside, and we had mulled wine and suckling pig and all that. And then Santa came and gave a whole heap of really crappy presents to all the adults, and it seemed to work. So I'm like, okay, cool.
Yeah. Well, that's one thing I like about what you do, is that you add some creativity.
Yeah, it's pointless just going, okay, we're going to do this, and then, do it half-assed, so to speak. It's like, okay, let's see how we can do it, and people go, wow, I didn't expect that. And so.
Yeah, because I was looking through photos to use for this interview, coming up, looking through pictures, and there's the ones where you're all dressed up in all sorts of crazy outfits and stuff. So.
That's generally the father-in-law, which you know very well. So Harry, my wife's dad, normally, we dress him up as the Easter Bunny. We've dressed him up as Elmo before, Santa. I think there was a teddy bear once as well. So he knows if I'm just walking towards him with the dress-up suit, like, you're right.
He knows this one.
Yep.
Although he'd do that himself. Like, he would do that to people too. He ropes people into things. So
exactly right.
Fair enough.
Bit of payback.
Okay, so have you got the family time that you hoped for?
Yes, now that we're sort of slowly getting there, as my wife frowns at me.
Yeah, sure, she says. Right.
Now that two of the boys are at school, it gives me more flexibility to do school drop-off and pick-up.
She probably is bursting to jump in, interrupt. Is that true?
Occasionally.
So I just hand it around here. Bless you. That's Carly and Willow.
But so any time that I can take time off, I do. Been saying that as well. We do have very big weekends. It's all like, okay, I need to be there for that. But all right, I'll be taking tonight off, for example. Most probably, possibly. And then we'll be open on Queen's birthday, but we'll have staff to be able to do that. So even though we're paying them penalties, we'll put the staff on, because very rarely now do we, with the boys going to school and me working weekends, that we're all sort of got the day off together.
All right. So what would you have done differently? What would you say? Would you want to mention any mistakes? Or?
There's always lots of mistakes, and I suppose that's the thing. As long as if you learn from your mistakes, then mistakes are okay. We took out massive catering contracts, which ended up costing us and losing us a lot of money. They were all good on paper, but by the time we factored in the extra 7 full-time staff members, all the workload and everything, it just wasn't worth the money at the end. And then we got out of that, and we opened up 2 other venues while having this one open. And by the time I'm running around and doing all that, once again, it was sort of like, okay, it's all that extra stress, it's not really bringing it in. So we're like, okay. And at the same time, we're watering down our brand of what we were trying to achieve. So it's like, okay, let's bring everything back to here. And then once we did that, all the functions just exploded. So we work with a much smaller team now. It's a lot more controlled. And that's where I get more family time.
Yeah, great. So it's all consolidated, and why spend rent on more places than you have to.
Yeah.
And what's the best part of having your own business?
It does give you flexibility. As I say to most of my staff, most people go into small business for the lifestyle, not to make millions of dollars. To be able to go, okay, I'm going away for 3 or 4 days, away with the kids or whatever, or okay, guys, you don't need me here today. I'm going, and just call me if you need me. And being your own boss and not having to be answerable to some higher person who has no idea what you're going through. So that's what I'm mindful of with my chefs as well, that they know that I know what they're going through. And that means that some mornings that if I'm in here at 5 o'clock in the morning prepping just to get everything ready for catering for Spring Racing Carnival, that early morning, and then I'll leave halfway through the day because I've already done my job. You guys do your job now, and but yeah, that's probably the best part. That sort of freedom to do what you want. And when I'm quoting functions, which you sit down and you have a chat, and what do you want? And we can negotiate and we can actually talk, and I don't have to take that to a boss that's just about worrying about the money side of things or whatever. It's like, okay, no, all right, done. Let's make it happen, or the events that we run. So that's probably the best part.
Yeah, and very creative with your ideas too. Okay, what about the worst part?
The worst part? Probably the hours as well.
Yeah, so you can, it says, I think it's a good idea to even that out. I can take off our guys, you've got this, but then on the other side is that you've got very long hours yourself.
Yeah, and as I say to the staff, hour for hour, you guys get paid more than I do. So they don't see all the extra stuff that you go through, and everything else that you do just to make it happen. And when we get cranky customers, which that's inevitable, you're always going to have an upset customer for whatever reason. That's my job. That's my job to deal with them, and a bit of public relations and that sort of thing. So that's probably the worst part. And then making sure you've got enough work to sustain everybody in their jobs and all that. So that's probably the next hard thing. You're not just actually just going to work for your 40 hours, you're clocking off at 4 or 5 p.m. and the money hits the bank on your next payday. You've actually got to go, okay, how am I going to make this happen? How are we going to, so that's probably the hardest part, I reckon.
Any advice to anyone else wanting to go into business? Small business?
Yeah. Probably what I said before, that most of us don't do it to make millions of dollars. It's mainly lifestyle reasons. And I've talked with a lot of people, and they could, they love it for that flexibility to be able to spend time with their kids or take holidays when they want to take holidays. Or it's taken us 6 years for me to get to that stage. And at the moment, we've got a good team of staff. But at the drop of the hat, staff members could, one could be off sick, one could be whatever, then bang, you're in there straight away again. So you just got to be prepared to put in the hard yards for the first 5 or 6 years.
It's a fair whack of time.
Yeah.
You're not scared of hard work.
Yeah.
All right. Well, is there anything you would like to let people know?
I think we've covered a lot of stuff there.
We have. So, well, anyway, I might wrap it up. I've been coming here for years. Definitely recommend anyone want a family-friendly place to come out with your kids, with or without kids. So you also do date night type stuff. Check out and like the Oscars Hangout page, because then you'll keep in the loop of the next events and come along to those. And we'll put all your contact details.
Cool.
And that's it. Thank you for your time.
No problem. Too easy. Cheers.
Ciao.